The orcish horde climbed over the walls under the guise of cloudy night. Bloodshed, panic, and chaos ensued. The town square quickly turned into the epicenter of violence. A squadron of guards in clunky plate armor was struggling to stop the orcish onslaught from the eastern parts of the town. On the other end of the square, a large, hulking bugbear, wearing nothing but a breastplate and filthy rags, was all by himself. The orcs were pouring in from the 4 street corners, but his long arms, wielding an even longer glaive, struck most of them down before they could even reach him. His power, speed, mobility, and menacing rage were absolutely breathtaking. He received a few cuts from the crude orcish great axes and javelins. However, these superficial wounds didn't seem to affect him at all. The bewildering pace of the combat wasn't tiring him either. Then, the seemingly endless stream of orcs suddenly stopped. The horns sounded off nearby. "Hooray!" yelled the guard commander. "They are retreating! Let's run out and kill the rest of them." The bugbear, however, ducked down and placed the palm of his hands on the ground. He could feel the tremors. He knew the real danger was coming. He growled at the guards. "It's not over, you dumb clunkers! Get back! The trouble is gonna come here soon!" Just as he yelled that, the 2 biggest Tanaruks he has ever seen emerged from the corners, one from the left and one from the right. Faced with these overwhelming odds, he cursed the smaller one of these Baphomet's spawn with the necrotic magic. Then he let out a deafening roar, channeling his inner rage once again. Taking full advantage of his immense reach, he kept swinging his glaive far and wide, bobbing and weaving away from their greatswords as best as he could. His mobility and reach proved to be an even match for their sheer power and unbridled fury. He got caught quite a lot, but the smaller Tanaruk looked way worse, soon succumbing to the mortal wounds. The bugbear knew it was now or never, so he placed a more potent curse on the bigger Tanaruk. The fiendish orc was very tough, but he simply couldn't reach the bugbear. The bugbear, on the other hand, knew that his rage is gonna wane in the meantime. However, the curse proved to be more effective than he expected, causing his glaive to cut deeper into the orc's skin and flesh. Keeping his distance, he kept hacking and slashing away. Finally, he managed to make a killing blow, critically wounding the behemoth across the neck and torso. Battered and bruised, his fur soaked in blood, he glanced over his shoulder. He saw the guards ganging up on the last of the Tanaruks. He dropped down on his knees, completely worn out and drained, and passed out. Alright folks, it's Min-Max Munchkin again. If you liked this lengthy intro, and if you want to slay these foul beasts from the pits of abyssal voids, the demonic, fiendish orcs, Tanaruks yourself, you're going to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell button to get notified of my future videos in the future. Yeah. With that said, let's just quickly go over this build, over this lovely little fella. So you're starting with the bugbear race, obviously. Strength is 16, dexterity, constitution 14, intelligence and wisdom are your dump stats, and charisma is 14, because we are going to be multi-classing into Warlock. Now, obviously, key features and defining characteristics are largely revolving around reach and the polearm mastery. So yeah, with that said, let's quickly go over these features. The most important racial feature is the long-limbed you get from the bugbear race. Dark vision is also important. Sneaky, you get stealth skill proficiency. Not that important, but could be useful. Stealth is one of the most important skills in the game anyway. Surprise attack is decent at the beginning of your career, like first 3 or 4 levels. After that, not that useful, especially because you need to be able to surprise the creature, and it only lasts for the first turn in the combat. So it's got a diminishing returns, but still okay. Feature of your background, which is a mercenary veteran, kind of fits with the theme. That's why I copy pasted it here. The chill, you are like a goblinoid group of mercenaries that are paid to battle the Utgard, orcs, trolls of the Evermoors and whatnot. Yeah. So yeah, you know this mercenary life. You're pretty like versed in those practices, and you can live a comfortable lifestyle based on those activities. Yeah, that said, long-limbed, blah blah blah. That we covered that. Now, Bear Totem Barbarian is pretty much going to be resistant to all types of damage except psychic. You're going to have advantage on all attacks except of opportunity attacks, but for this type of build I would actually ask a DM to house rule that I'm able to use the reckless attack on opportunity attacks. Now, it is not by the rules, but I mean, your build would heavily benefit from it, and I don't think it's really that much game breaking. I mean, it only gives you a possibility to ensure a little bit like more damage every round. Now, danger sense is also useful sometimes, but I mean, not that often. Hexblade Warlock, obviously we take it for the Hexblade's curse and the Hex spell. Both of those increase your damage. The Hexblade curse gives you the ability to critical hit on 19 and 20, and you get some heals and ability to have a bit more luck on the grapple checks. Battlemaster Fighter is the majority of your build, 16 levels of Battlemaster Fighter to be more precise. You get the fighting style, the second wind heal, the action surge, the superiority dice, the maneuvers. The maneuvers are actually the most interesting because you have a lot of choices here. Now, you do get all 9 by level 19, but for the majority of your career you're going to be dealing with like 3, 5 and 7, because you start with 3, then you learn 2 additional at level 7, 10, 15. So you will have between like 3 to 7 maneuvers depending on your level for the majority of your career. I would start with the trip attack and disarm attack personally, but you can choose whatever you want. I think those two are like the most versatile and most unique, most universal. Obviously, lunging attack is at the top of the priority as well, because we are a reach based build. We need to maximize our reach as much as possible, so yeah, pick that sometime during your progression. Distracting strike and precision attack I would take as well, because this one helps your allies get advantage, and precision attack helps you actually be able to land hits on those high armor class opponents. Now, riposte, pushing attack, maneuvering attack, and goading attack are your battlefield control maneuvers. Those you can pretty much leave for later. 6 ability score increases at level 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, and 16. Give you plenty of space to take all the feats and ability scores upgrades you need. Now, Student of War is kind of like your ribbon feature, but still can be useful in like 5% situations where your artisan's tools are going to come into the spotlight. Know your enemy is also useful, because if you sneak up to your opponent or you interact with it, you can learn 2 of these 6 or 7 features that this feature can reveal. Obviously, most of the time you're going to go for these 2. Indomitable is one of those features that Fighter is known for as well, especially later levels. It pretty much enables you to reroll a failed saving throw, and that's it. But that's pretty huge because it is it is a long rest feature, but you get it 2 times per day, starting from level 13. Now, Relentless is one of those high level features that you are probably never going to see in a majority of your campaigns, but if you manage to reach level 19, yeah, you always have 1 superiority dice at least. Now, Feats, Polearm Master is extremely useful. This is the bread and butter of your feat. It synergizes ridiculously with the mobile feat, which is why I would personally pick mobile feat before Great Weapon Master feat, because the ability to not provoke opportunity attacks, paired with the ability to have the opportunity attack reaction every time an enemy enters your reach, pretty much enables you to move in and out of combat at will without getting damaged, and forcing your opponents to come towards you and then hitting them during the process. So yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Obviously, Great Weapon Master feat is one of those staple feats of any great weapon wielding fighter, and great weapon wielding weapon whatever kind of build. Basically, you take -5 to hit to get +10 damage. It's a bonus action, and it enables you to have additional bonus action melee attack that is a bit stronger than the Polearm Master feat attack, but it's not that often that you get this. On the other hand, Polearm Master, you are pretty much guaranteed every time you take the attack action to get a bonus action attack that deals a decent bludgeoning damage, and you can apply all of your Hexblade's Curse and Great Weapon Master feat damages onto it. Now, progression wise, I would say that this build is mechanically viable like from the first level. However, the only thing that might be tricky is the fact that you are actually capitalizing on the Bugbear race, and the Bugbears are one of those Volo's guide to everything monstrous races. So you're not a humanoid, and your DM might actually be a bit picky about those. So talk to your DM before. But I don't see the reason why he or she shouldn't let you use the Bugbear. I mean, after all, you being a monstrous race pretty much might actually get you into more trouble than you even want. But yeah, I mean, we are building a reach creature, so we need the Bugbear. Now, Barbarian, obviously level 1, then Fighter level 5, because we need those extra attack surges, maneuvers, Polearm Master feat at level 4, and stuff like that. Now, after that, you go 2 more levels in Barbarian to get Reckless Attack, Danger Sense, and Bear Totem Spirit. After that, pick up the 6th level of Fighter. Here, even though you do have Reckless Attack, which is your primary engine for advantage on attack rolls, I would actually go with the mobile feat. I don't think you need to focus on maximizing your damage this early on at level 9. At level 9 you're still pretty much okay just using your Polearm Master feat for those bonus actions and stuff like that. Yeah. And the fact that you have mobile feat now pretty much enables you to behave like this build is supposed to behave. You're pretty much going in, stinging like a bee, and then moving out of combat. Now, 1 more level, obviously Warlock, Hexblade's Curse and Hex Spell. Your damage increases, crit chance doubling stuff. After that, obviously Fighter all the way up to 16 to get all of these goodies that we already covered above, right? So, with that said, let's quickly go back to our lovely guy here and go over the amount of damage you can pull off. Now, obviously, due to how Rage works, you first need to cast Spell, or you first need to cast Hex on round number 1, because if you rage, then you cannot cast spells during the rage. That's just how rage works. So yeah, cast Hex as a bonus action. A first round of combat. You get on average 95 damage if all these attacks hit. Now, opportunity attack granted if your DM doesn't let you use reckless attack on opportunity attacks, meaning that you don't have advantage. If you opt to use the Great Weapon Master feat, you will only have plus 6 to hit with the opportunity attack, which is kind of low for level 20, so those opportunity attacks might not land on any turn, on any round, but still we are talking about the max damage potential during each round, so we are just assuming all of these attacks hit. Now, that said, on the first round you are averaging around 95 damage. Round 2 you enter rage, so all of those 4 attacks get +2, which is somewhere around 105 damage on average during round 2. Now round 3 is where you dump most of your all of your features that you have access to, due to the fact that you bonus action Hexblade's Curse, and you are fully equipped with all 3 damage and crit increasing abilities. So you pretty much go with all of the maneuvers here. You dump all the maneuvers here because there's a higher chance you will land a crit attack. Now we will assume none of these attacks will land a crit, but it might happen. So 60-10, 60-10 and 1d10. Obviously we wasted all of our maneuvers and superiority dice here. In total, that's around somewhere between 255 and 260 damage, which is pretty insane. It's like a huge burst of damage during round 3. After that, obviously, we have no more action surge, and we have no more superiority dice. Still, though, we have our bonus action attacks, which is always going to be at least 1d4 plus 1d6 plus 23. Yeah, from round 4 onward, we are averaging around somewhere in between 155 to 160 damage. Now, obviously, you can see the stat strength is maximized, dexterity remains 14, constitution is up to 16. So, this build is actually pretty well balanced, because you have your reach, but you also have your 187 health, which is doubled when you are raging, basically effectively doubled because you take only half damage. Now, obviously your AC is not the best, but you pretty much don't need it too high anyway. And the mobile feat gives us 40 speed. In total, I would say this build is on par, if not even outpacing Sorkadin build, because you have your marathon ability. Like after round 3, you can go for a full minute. Like for the full duration of the combat, you can deal about 155 to 160 damage, while Sorkadins typically fizzle out in the first couple of rounds because they waste all of their slots on divine smites, and then they just have to rely on their basic attacks. Still though, like this build is definitely on par with Sorclox, and the ability to have so much reach with their attacks, up to 20 reach with lunging attack, gives them so much battlefield control that you pretty much can cover large areas of battlefield and just pretty much draw attention to yourself. So yeah, you're filling up that role in the party, and you're not just a DPS guy that just ignores everything else and hits stuff. You're pretty much like a party member that contributes to the combat flow. Yeah, that said, that's it for this build. Nothing else to say really. If you like this type of stuff, if you want more of this type of content, like, share, comment and subscribe. You know the drill. hit the bell button to get notified of my future videos. And with that said, Min Max Munchking out, and goodbye until next time.